If I could build a B58 again, how would I do it? Fellas, what is going on? Welcome back to another video. Welcome back to the channel. This is a different video. Trust me, it's gonna be a good video. A lot of you guys are probably wondering not only how do you build a B58, which direction you should go, which maps should you follow, what quest should you partake in, but more importantly, how did I build my B58 engine? The things that I regret, what are some things that I would have changed if I was to do it all over again? Subtle foreshadowing, how would I do it? So fellas, sit back and relax. We're in the new apartment. This is gonna be a great video. You guys are gonna get a lot of knowledge from this. Here we go. Let's hop into it. So the first thing you're probably wondering is, what B58 did you have? Well, let me put some clips up on the screen right now. I got a 2020 M340i with roughly 20,000 miles. One of the best days of my life. First time I ever bought my own car with my own money, a car that I knew I could go fast in. If I step back and take a blast from the past, I remember waking up, I think it was 2004. I was probably, if I can do math, 7 years old. I remember Christmas Day, I'm opening a present, boom, what do you know, for the Nintendo GameCube, Need for Speed Underground. Shout out if you guys know Need for Speed Underground. It's probably one of the best games ever made. It totally changed landscape trajectory of modern racing video games. It was during the big days of Fast and Furious, early 2000s, spiked hair, you know, more than you can afford, pal, type stuff. That for me, I swear, it indoctrinated me. I already knew I was destined at least sometime in my life to get a car that I knew I could modify and have fun with. After college, when I finally decided to drop my big boy paycheck on a car like that, the 2020 M340i, I was over the moon. I was completely ecstatic. I knew that platform at the time, B58 was still kind of on the come up. It had some early hype, but nobody really knew the true potential. Previous generation BMWs were always known for being able to be modified and tuned. However, obviously there was some hiccups. Yes, you could go fast, but it usually came with a lot more. You had to do a lot more of the engine. What I liked about this platform though, is it was kind of plug and play. You just had a downpipe and an email, and you could go fast and you could sound good. So that basically started the journey. I was watching YouTube videos like an absolute maniac. I was researching as much as I could. I was trying to figure out between boot mod, MHD, EcuTech, which route I should go. I remember I was working a job at the time. I was doing sales and I just was constantly on my computer. I wasn't even calling clients, sending emails, none of that. I was just purely researching MHD, stage 2, the potentials, if I should go 200 cell, 400 cell downpipe, you know, catless, if I should go full exhaust, you know, what exhaust did they offer? You know, did I have to do anything else? Should I go intakes? I mean, it was a rabbit hole. I'd say I probably had the car stock for a month. I remember I started out with just a downpipe. I did the ActiveAutowerke catted downpipe, the 400 cell, just because I didn't want to go fully catless and I didn't want the car to be too raspy. And that was perfect. Got the downpipe installed, still was on stock exhaust, no intake, loved the car. No intake, it was great. Mine being a 2020, I was actually able to unlock the car without femtoing it. There's like a little MHD unlocker tool that I used, plugged it in, connected it to the DME, and it took about, I don't know, 5 or so minutes for it to be unlocked, which was awesome. Once it was unlocked, boom, we slapped the stage 2 right on. It was just a 91 octane tune. We were hitting the gates. The car was an absolute blast. But that didn't last very long because next thing you know, we did the intakes. Once I did intake, then I'm like, oh man, I need to do full exhaust. So I ordered a full 3.5 inch matte exhaust. Shout out matte exhaust, great prices by the way. Slapped that on and boom, the car was a different animal. And I'm like, you know what? I can't just go with this 400 cell downpipe. We need to have some more B58 per. Before you know it, I was full catless with valves open. It was pretty much completely straight piped. My neighbors hated me, the farm hated me, the chickens, the goats, the horses, they all hated me, my girlfriend hated me. It just was obnoxious. But you know what? I was having fun, I was living my dream. And that's where I really made my first mistake. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean made your first mistake? How is that a mistake? Well, where I was currently at with the build wasn't a mistake. It's where I went after that. I should have probably kept the car in that state and I would have loved it. I mean, stage 2, E40, the car was probably right under 500 wheel horsepower, maybe like 480-ish, and that would have been perfect in my case. I wanted more, and I wanted more, and I wanted more, and I wanted more, and that's the hole. That's the trap card, you know? Like a dual disc, that's the trap card that got activated, and then it just, from there, the HP points just... Fellas, I'm telling you, if you have a catless or just any downpipe setup, full exhaust, stage 2, let's say you're on an ethanol blend, you're perfect in an M340i. Truly. You're gonna love the car, super easy to revert back to stock. I think that's the true value out of the B58 at that level. And that's why I'm making this video, because don't do what I did and go so overkill to the point where you realize, what am I even doing? I don't even want this out of my car. It all started once Da released the 6769. If you guys don't know about ActiveAutowerke, then you must be living under a B58 rock, or the opposite of that, because fellas, at the time, bottom mount turbos were basically new to the market. Pure 800 has been out for a little bit, but these new line of Da turbos, it was next level. There's nothing like that. So you already know, boom, I'm back on the research train. I ordered the Da. It took 4 months for it to finally come in. I couldn't find any videos on it. I think there was one guy with a Supra that made a video on it, but it was so brief. It was an ultimate tease. It took so long, but when it finally came in, I was so excited. I knew this thing was gonna get rowdy. So we slapped the turbo in, and boom, just like that, I realized I'm limited. I am still on stock fueling, but I have this big old 6769. What am I gonna do with it? I can't do anything with it. Obviously that leads us to the fueling upgrades. We start doing S58 injectors. I do a DS3 or no, DS25, whatever at the time, the Dorch high pressure fuel pump was. An intake manifold. You know, gotta keep those IATs down. Port injection, because obviously with the intake manifold, it's integrated right on the top. The way they're angled is perfect for spraying. I think my injectors on those were like 1,000 cc or something like that. I went from basically no fueling to all the fueling I could ever need in the world, to where honestly, the fueling was overkill. Even though I did all that fueling and that 6769 had all that pepper, my car still was limited. Why do you think it was limited? Well, I wonder why it could be limited. Oh, the transmission, that's right. About 650-ish wheel torque, the transmission on the ZF851 usually starts to slip. And in my case, by the time I had all the fueling, I had the turbo basically in a stage to where it could be absolutely maxed out. I probably could have blown up my engine if I wanted to, and my transmission, and my car, and the grass in my front yard. I realized I don't even want to go that fast. I'm not looking for 900 horsepower, 1,000 horsepower. I realized, why did I do all this fueling when this is not even what I want? And I knew at the time, building out the transmission, obviously that's a big expense. And even if I would have built it out, I would have been like, I'm not happy. This is not what I wanted. And at the time, that's truly how I felt. I'm like, what am I doing? You know, I did all these things. I did coilovers to the car. I did sway bars, front camber plates. It had a super aggressive stance, alignment. I mean, the car got after it, man. That car was dialed in for an M340i. Basically, the car was maxed out other than a transmission. The transmission was the only thing holding that car back. If I would have built the trans on that car, it could have been, you know, the sky's the limit. I could have decided to switch to like a top mount. I could have done like a 6870. Like I said, the fueling, I had all that. I had the manifold, intake, exhaust, downpipe. It was just at that time, the transmission. I was working with a great tuner, David Shoup. He just kept saying, you know, we're right there. We could dial it in, dial it in, dial it in. You know, the PSI could have kept creeping, creeping, creeping. I even called up David. I'm like, yo, I'm sorry, man, but I I think this is it. Like, I'm not happy. I don't think this platform is for me right now. I'm not going for max boost. You know, I want something more capable, like a chassis that's more capable. And it was tough. You know, I put a lot into that car. I put a lot of money and time and effort. I mean, it had, fellas, I mean, if you followed the build, you would know, man, we had chrome pexes on it. It just got wrapped satin black, full carbon body kit. Like, dude, it was maxed. I don't even know what else I would have done to it other than carbon fiber fenders. You know, like the front fenders. But I digress. Basically, the point I'm trying to make is know what you want to do. And obviously, sometimes you don't know what you want to do until you do it. And in my case, I realized that very quickly. It was my first time ever modding a car to that extent. I truly didn't know what I wanted. I thought I did at the time, but very quickly I realized when I hit that point and when I hit that novelty factor, I'm like, why am I riding this wave right now? Like, why am I riding this lightning where it's something that doesn't even fit my values and what I want out of my car? It's not what I desire. So now, with all that being said, it is time for the magic. What would I do today after learning from all my mistakes, my experience? How would I build a B58 right now? Come on! If I was to get a B58 tomorrow, the first thing that I would do, just like I did back in the day, is I would probably do a 200 cell padded high flow downpipe. You're probably wondering why 200 cell? Well, I love the sound of catless, but I can't stand the smell. So if you're someone that has no issue with catless, you don't mind breathing in raw gasoline, you know, with your windows down, then by all means, go catless. Exhaust-wise, check this out. This is where it's gonna get super, super interesting, and a lot of you guys are probably gonna be like, what? I think if I was to go exhaust-wise, I wouldn't do a full exhaust, but hear me out. The ActiveAutowerke 3.5 inch mid-pipe. Whoa! It's like, fellas, who puts a mid-pipe on a B58? That's like S58 dude behavior, okay? That's M-car stuff. Fellas, I think ever since having the G80, I like the idea of a mid-pipe. And not only do I like it because the price, I'm pretty sure it's like a $300 pipe. It also keeps the OEM axle back. And I really like that for some reason. I think it looks really clean. It looks stealth. It's under the radar. Fitment is just dialed, especially on the LCI. Oh, man. I think a mid-pipe would be sick. I don't know about you super guys, other guys that have, you know, a little bit different piping setups. Downpipes, 200 cell, I would do an AA mid-pipe. Obviously, same intake, okay? Intake-wise, I had like an MST intake, but what I did is I upgraded the cone or the filter to a big gulp equivalent. And I'm trying to remember the name of the filter. I'll link it down below, but they're very popular. It was great. Oh my gosh, the suck on it was amazing. Power delivery, spool, all that. Just, it felt high quality filter wise. And it's very inexpensive. I think it was like a little over $300 for me. So boom, there you go. Now this is where it's gonna get interesting. You're probably wondering like, where is he gonna go? What direction is he gonna go? Fueling wise, I'd probably do the DS25 again. Unless they have like a new one out. I haven't even checked, but basically the Dorch upgraded fuel pump. I know that there's, I think, a spool one, maybe there's another one, I'm not sure, I have to check. But basically I'm just going off what was available at the time. I would do S58 injectors, okay? So basically injectors for my car right now, you can use on a B58. Don't know why I'm doing that hand gesture. And then that would be it for fueling. I wouldn't even touch PI. And you're probably wondering, why would you not touch PI? Well, fellas, basically your DI would be completely maxed out. And then from there, the fun would begin. Not only with the car, but also your bank account. Turbo-wise, I'd probably do a 6466, okay? So a smaller turbo, bigger than stock, but not like a 6769 or a 6969, which I saw they just released, even a pure 900. I think a pure 900 would be the only contender to a 6466 size-wise that I'd probably go after. But I just like Dynamic AutoWorks. I want to stick Dynamic AutoWorks. I think they make good products. The prices are good. It's a good company. I would probably do a 6466. And then, boom, it would be done. It would be done. The setup would be dialed. Oh my gosh, the value you get for parts, performance, I'd probably tune with Shoup again. I know Shoup now is Hollywood. I'd probably do a custom tune flex fuel E50, E60, E70, something around that, maybe even a full E85. I'd have him dial down the torque in the lower gears, probably first gear, second gear. The torque would be, you know, it would come on more gradually as the RPM went up. That way the transmission would stay nice and healthy. Remember, around 650 wheel torque is kind of the limit. He's very good at dialing that in. And then in terms of horsepower, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what people have been pumping out on a 6466, but I know for sure you can get in the 700s. And you could probably get in there reliably to where you're not maxing out your wastegate. Turbo will probably be at a healthy PSI, at least from some of the data that I've seen. So I think for a B58, dude, that is so perfect, man. And it would have a mid-pipe. So no one, they would think it's, obviously they could hear the car, right? They'd know it's a 200 cell downpipe, but it would look stealth. Oh man, it would look so stealth. I'd probably put it on the ST coils again. I would keep the stock wheels, put on probably 15 mil spacers all around or 12 mil all around. I can't remember what I had. And it's like, dude, that car is done, man. For the value you get, the sleeperness, the stealthness. It's like my G80 right now, stage 2, E50, would probably be at the same power. You know, it's a little over 700. Man, with the M340i or any B58 Supra, a little over 700 horsepower without building the trans, you're still getting good gas mileage. And you're saving a lot of money. Fellas, I think that's the ticket, and I'm getting hyped up because, hey, I might not be foreshadowing, but I'm foreplaying, okay? So fellas, let me know your thoughts on that. I know it's been a minute since I've been in the B58 community and market, but man, I'm telling you, after seeing all these, there's so many B58s in the area, it's just, it's like right there, it's like dangling the keys in front of me. Fellas, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Best of luck with your builds. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. You can also hit me up on Instagram. I'm more than happy to help you guys over there. Happy building. Stay tuned because, like I said, there's gonna be some interesting stuff on the channel, so make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss out. With that being said, much love again, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.